Good afternoon. Welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Caryn, afternoon edition. Hilariously, my kids let me sleep in today, and normally they wake up at 7:30, so sleeping in is like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So when I got out of bed this morning and it was 10:35, I was like, time to move the live stream a couple hours. So here we are. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, your kombucha. Maybe you're having a little bit of a Sunday morning mimosa. Go grab whatever it is you want. We're going to have an awesome live stream today talking about celestial bodies. So this includes everything from your astrology chart up to the Ascended Masters, everything in between, and how to truly, truly cultivate a daily communion with the celestial beings that are here to support us on our human journey. So thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Caryn Terrace and I am the Dragon Doula. What that means is that I help you to birth your dragon here in 3D, your 5D dragon, your 5th dimensional dragon, your 7th dimensional self. Your highest self is a dragon. I know that it's so much fun to imagine yourself in your physical form just like glowing and halo-y, but you also have to accept the dark sides of things and the shadow sides, and that's where dragons come in. They're mysterious, they're powerful, they don't fuck around, they don't care about your suffering, they don't want to hear your story about how bad your life is. They want to hear the story about how you conquered, how you slayed, and how you continue to go forward every day hungry for what it is you truly want to desire, what you want to create in your life. So here we are. Oh, today's topic, accepting support from your spiritual body, or from the celestial bodies. So when I first did this, I wasn't planning on missing last week. So last week I was sick, and I was going to talk about how to harness the power of the sun last week, and then talk about the Lunar New Year coming up, which is on Friday of this week, is Chinese New Year's, Lunar New Year. And I wanted to talk about those two things, and then I realized that astrology is not my strong suit. It's just not. I've never been really into it. I don't know what Saturn conjunct Pluto in the house of whatever. I don't know what any of that means. But I do know lots and lots and lots of people that use astrology every single day of their lives to help in figuring out what it is that they need to be doing that day or in that week. And not only do I have friends who do a lot of astrology, I also have friends who are in constant communication with their spirit guides. So they'll talk about either their animal, their power animal, their spirit guide, their the ascended angels and masters, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Archangel Michael, so all the archangels, all of the fae people, the fairies, even the other dragons that are here. So while you are a dragon, as in you were born from seraphim DNA, your kundalini life force energy is that of dragons. There are still other dragons from Octorius. Like if you've ever done one of my bespoke dragon invocations, you guys know that I use a deck of cards from Diane Cooper, the Dragon Oracle deck. So all of those dragons, the elemental dragons, the ones that really helped lay the ley lines, the dragon lines. And so you have all of this support from all around, and they're all celestial, right? They're all non-physical. They're all stars. And we talk a lot about in this forum on Sunday Morning Coffees with Caryn about how you are a god, you are a dragon, you are way more than just what the system would have you to believe, the system that has enslaved you into suffering, into accepting suffering as the human condition. Suffering is not the human condition. The human condition is to live pleasurably, to enjoy your senses, to really revel in being 3D And when you're able to revel in being 3D, everything in your life expands. So a lot of you guys know that I do work a whole lot with you spiritual parents out there, the ones who are entrepreneurs, also parents, trying to kick ass, take names, do everything because you know that your kids deserve so much better than the world that we were given. So when I am speaking, a ton of the times I end up talking about your bottom line just because it's the most physical way for me to show you how tapping into and awakening your inner dragon allows you to live your dream life. A year ago, I couldn't pay my mortgage. A year ago, I couldn't dream of taking a random 4-day vacation to go on a conference, which I'm doing this weekend. A year ago, I could barely make our groceries. Hey, Christina, and other, wow, I got lots of Christinas in my life. And Carrie and Sarah and Erica. Hello, everyone. Allison. So when I'm talking about bottom lines, it's simply because I know that a whole lot of people that are following me want to know the tangible, like, how do I tangibly change my life? Well, one way is that you can lose a whole lot of weight. You can just drop the excess weight that you've been carrying around because you realize that it doesn't matter anymore, that the things that you think matter don't actually matter, and then it's physicalized into your matter. I actually posted about that earlier this week, about how last year I had dropped like 30 pounds, and this year I've dropped another 10, and now I'm finally going to actually start trying to get physically fit by like doing more yoga and running and things like that to help tighten my core, because that was the one area of my body that I was like, oh, that didn't really change that much. I've also had 3 kids. A lot of that is just excess skin. So, you know, but naked mirror mantras, I will always do naked mirror mantras. I will always be able to look at myself in the mirror and love every single inch of me. And the same thing for my bank account. You guys might not have been in it. A lot of you guys were. I just completed a 3-day boost in the Back to Basic boot camp that I had done back in August. And what we talked about on the last day was the art of sexual transmutation. And one of the things that I love to do, which is to revel in my my dirty side, in my deviant side, and love up on lack. Meaning I take my surprise bills that I wasn't expecting, and instead of getting angry about it, I get turned on by them. I praise myself for the amazing way that I'm capable of manifesting, and the more that I am grateful for the random bills, the more they turned into checks. So I get more random checks in the mail than I do. It was literally on that live stream and someone came and paid me. So it was really funny. But all of this comes back down to seeking support from your celestial beings. So let's go into your astrology, okay? So everybody, I love it when you guys are a part of the conversation. So everyone drop your sun sign, okay? So I'm a Leo. So write down in your comments, tell me what your sun sign is. It's the sign that you most likely know. Like, if the word sun sign's like, I don't know, and you're just like, but I'm a Libra, that's your sun sign. So I'll give you all a second while I drink some coffee. Do you like my new setup, by the way? I'm going to give you guys a tour of the room. I totally changed around my room over the weekend. Virgo. So Christina is a Virgo. I am a Leo. My husband is a Leo. He totally acts like a Cancer. My son, Leo, is a Virgo. Luzina is a Gemini, and Alex is a Pisces. So we actually have all 4 elements in our kids, which is really cool and crazy. Capricorn, 2 Capricorns, perfect. So you guys just had birthdays. Happy birthday. Yeah, so here we are. We have all these people who have their signs. And yes, please. So you then can go to any newspaper or Google it, whatever, and you type in, what is my astrology for this week, Leo? And you will find 800,000 different astrologers who are going to tell you how the planets are aligning. Again, you can get your natal chart, and it'll tell you not only your sun sign, but every planet where it was. So when I look at my natal chart, there is a whole lot of fire and a whole lot of air. So always blowing those raging firestorms at people. I've got some earth in there, and then a little bit of water, just like a wee bit of water, just to keep it flowing, just to keep, you know, every now and then I got to douse that flame over there. But for the most part, my natal chart shows fire and air and earth and just a wee bit of water. And then even the earth is more like to ground me down. It's mostly fire. Like, it's insane. I remember being like 11 when my mom had my natal chart done, and I didn't really get it, but I do remember the lady telling my mom, like, this girl is here to change the entire planet because she wants to burn everything down, which is true. I just did a event yesterday where I was speaking, and I could tell that everyone that I had gone to the event, that had been a whole day of wellness and meditations and all this sort of stuff, very high vibe, very like healing oriented. And I walked in there and I was like, bam, you're healed. Now what? What are you going to do with your life? Because I'm so sick and fucking tired of this seeking of healing, because I did it. I did it in 2 years. Fibromyalgia, cured. Degenerative arthritis, cured. Overweight, cured. Suicidal thoughts, cured. Bank account constantly in the negative, cured. I am cured, not healed from. Cured of all of the things that ailed me, because I didn't need to heal my past. I needed to know that I was worth more than what my past had taught me. I didn't need to continue living in the hell of my past. But what pulled me out was my connection to the stars. So when I say the celestial beings, I'm talking about, okay, your stars. I'm mainly earth and water, Capricorn and Scorpio. Earth and water, very grounded, right? Very, you're also super into fairies, Erica, so that makes a lot of sense. So very grounded, very flowy. So we do these things where we take our astrology and we make decisions based on how we're going to act based on these horoscopes. So I'm going to get there in a second, but I want to continue this thought. We all have these horoscopes. We all have this. How many of you, when you first read your horoscope, were like, oh my God, how does it know me? That's how I am. Every time I read a Leo horoscope, I'm like, how do they know my life? Right? How do they know me so well? And, excuse me. Perfect. So I got like 18,000 thoughts in my head. I'm trying to figure out the best way to get it out for you. Your horoscope isn't like going to define you. Okay, here we go. Found it. My husband, like I said, is a Leo. He was supposed to be born a Cancer. Okay. So when you meet me and my husband, if you ever met us in person, you'd be like, that's the epitome of yin and yang. The crap is going on over there. Like, he is very calm, very grounded, very water. Not like emotionally that way. Like, he's not emotional at all. But like, even yesterday we were listening to a Pink Floyd song, a cover that was a banjo cover of Time. It was mind-blowing. And my husband, that I never see cry, is crying. But I also know that music is one of those things that really has a lot of impact for him. There was a lot of times in his childhood where the Pink Floyd albums were like all he had. So I know that when he hears a really good cover of a Pink Floyd song, he's likely to break out into tears. It happens. But if he reads a Leo horoscope, it doesn't fit him, like, ever. Ever. But if he reads the Cancer horoscope, it's more likely to fit. But in general, horoscopes just don't affect my husband. He didn't read them a lot when he was a kid. He never really got that. He was never programmed to believe in horoscopes, okay? Versus my mom and dad, we got the newspaper every day, so I actually looked at my horoscope like every day, and I thought it was so cool how the horoscope knew me. As an only child, it was like having a little friend in this horoscope lady. Yeah, so my moon sign is, so here Christina Russell's saying, oh man, my moon sign is way more accurate. I feel like my sun sign doesn't really match up. So what she's talking about again is the natal. So I'm a Leo moon, or a Leo sun with a Libra moon, and I want to say, I don't remember what my rising sign is. I want to say Aquarius rising though. Like, it's sun with some sun, and then the Libra's in there, like, balance, being my little tiny balance, right? So again, your moon sign might be more accurate. You might find that the sign that you were born under doesn't resonate fully with what you see your characteristics as. So you read your moon sign, but you're reading the sun sign. So when you do that, Christina, make sure you're reading the moon's horoscope and not the sun's horoscope, because you can't really, this is something I recently learned, you can't really take the sun horoscope for Libra, let's say, and if Libra is your moon, and try to match them. They actually don't. This is why I didn't want to come on here and talk about astrology, because I really don't fucking get it, guys. I don't. I think it's amusing, and that's what I wanted to get to. So many people put so much weight in their horoscope. They won't go on travel plan. They won't make travel plans. They'll cancel appointments. They're literally letting these celestial bodies rule their life instead of realizing that it's actually the celestial bodies are supposed to be helping. Ooh, love my job. Tia, girl, you're going to love my room. I'm going to do like a tour inside the Ancient Alchemy's Way, because I moved everything. I'm in the commanding corner. I'm in the feng shui section. Like, I told you I'm moving my whole office around. I shifted my whole entire room again. We took everything out and I washed the walls and I put them back. And now I'm in a different closet. You guys don't know this, but I've been doing all my live streams from inside of a closet. I'm still inside of a closet, but a different closet. Facing the opposite way. So I used to face inside of the closet. Anyway, I digress. Yes, I love it, right? We got Shiva over here. We got Ma Durga over here. Ma Durga she's me. Let's be honest. This woman right here, she's the epitome of supermom. And then Shiva is the epitome of the masculine, and it's just amazing. Sorry, I got distracted. I was waiting for someone, so thanks, Tia. So we put all this weight in the celestial bodies being what commands us, instead of using their knowledge to aid us. Okay, so the difference is that I don't ever change my travel plans based on my horoscope. I actually don't even check my horoscope that often. I tend to look more at the planetary, like, all the planets are direct right now, and that means that all of them are going in a clockwise movement around the sun. Nobody's in retrograde. So everyone's moving in the pattern of their powerhouse. So making a big change, like moving your office around and things like that, or the fact that it's almost the Lunar New Year, right? So we just had the physical New Year. Chinese New Year is Lunar New Year. So it's kind of just finishing up that extra, maybe at the very end of the sun calendar year. It's crazy. It's Christmas and it's New Year's and it's all this crazy stuff going on. So you can actually, a lot of you might have already fallen off of your bandwagon for the year of your New Year's resolution. And if you go off the lunar calendar, you actually still have all this week to continue letting go. It's a waning moon right now. So the new moon's going to be on Friday. And so every month, the week before the new moon is a time for letting go. Capricorn sun and moon, I find it difficult to identify fully with Capricorns, but once I found my rising in Venus and Pisces, it made more sense. And yes, you're right, it's fun to get into, but allowing astrology to dictate your moves and choices is not always right. Exactly, Christina. Exactly. So having that tool to look and be like, okay, so I'm a Leo. Saturn's doing some crazy shit in Leo right now. For me, when I read astrology, it's normally a confirmation. Again, I don't check it super often, but when I do get the intuitive hit, which is another celestial body, we're going to get to that in a second. When I do get to the intuitive hit that I want to check my astrology, usually what's happening is that instead of me using it as a predictor to decide what I need to do next, it helps me be like, Oh, okay. So some crazy shit was going down with Pluto and Saturn like last week. And my school got torn down. Like all sorts of stuff was happening. And I was like, this is weird. My energy is all sorts of crazy. What's happening? And when I checked the astrology on top of other things, I was like, oh, okay. So Saturn, which controls something, is with Pluto, which controls something. And they were conjunct, which means that they were like crossing each other's paths, I think, which hadn't happened since like 1500 something. Like, again, don't know astrology. Hey, Juliana. But when I read what it meant that Capricorn or that Saturn and Pluto were crossing each other, I was like, oh, okay. So those energies did actually affect me a little bit. That makes sense. So I don't let the I don't let the planets dictate my life, but I do allow, like, I do still respect the fact that they do hold power. And I do respect that there are very many, many people over many, 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 many thousands of years who have used astrology and have built a belief system. And because that belief system exists, you can tap into that energy. You can use the belief systems of other people. So, clearing, for example. Lots of people are clearing this time of year, or right now, because again, I told you the new moon is coming. But a lot of the times we clear and we don't realize that as soon as we've cleared the energy, we're just like allowing it to turn back into neutral energy. So sometimes if I'm feeling low on energy, I will actually take a second and be like, I would like to tap into all of the energy that's just being cleared away from everybody else and just kind of like siphon it off a little bit. Because you're not doing anything with it. It was negative. It had a negative charge inside of your body. So you cleared it away. And the second you cleared it away, it turned back into star stuff. It turned back into photons. It turned back into energy, neutral energy. And you are now, another person can now suck up that neutral energy that you displaced and use it and turn it into a positive charge in their body. This is a trick that I teach my clients that blows their mind, because a lot of us have spent years and years clearing and years cutting cords, but we don't know how to access, like, to tap into the unlimited energy and the unlimited potential that helps you keep moving, that allows you to move through a sickness in 48 hours instead of 2 weeks like everybody else in your family, that allows you to completely clear your bloodline in 24 hours instead of 24 years, that allows you to lose 40 pounds in a year with naked mirror mantras and not with diets and wraps and all that crazy stuff. Yeah, Juliana. We learned this in Juju Fierce. So you can tap into this energy. So celestial energy is also, so now that we've talked about the celestial bodies in the sky, you've got the whole calendar, so like figure out your own, like have fun with it. Natal charts are super fun. They're also fun to read your kids' natal charts. That was really fun. My son, we did his, and there was a part in there about his early childhood and some things that were going to happen or that did happen. And I was like, this is weird. I'm reading myself in my kid's natal chart, and it was talking about in his, like, in your young life, your mother was distant, but around age 8, things changed. And that was exactly what happened in his life. And I had never, ever read his natal chart before. So it was really cool to be like, oh man, okay, this does have some sort of validity. But it's also not, again, meant to be, you have free will. So you can read something in your horoscope and be like, no, actually, I'm not going, no one and nothing is going to stop me. I'm going to do this no matter what. And I don't give a shit that Jupiter and Mercury are fuck buddies up in the sky right now. I'm still going to do this thing. Okay. So again, that's your free will choice. Are you going to allow the planets to have that much power over you that you are constantly seeking answers in them? Or are you going to use them as like, oh, okay, so some shit was going down in the sky. Okay, sweet. That makes sense why XYZ did or didn't happen, right? Does that make sense for everybody? I'm drank some more coffee. So other celestial bodies, before I move away from the planets, you like that one. So moon, let's talk about the moon really quick, just because it is the Lunar New Year on Friday. If you guys want to join me, I'm not going to be doing it. My friend Abby, I'm going to try to get her to do it because she's way more into it, is doing a live stream in my group, the Ancient Ways Alchemic Society, on Friday. I'm going to just drop the link right here so you can join me. So every new moon and full moon, we do a ritual. When there's special holidays in different cultures, I try to find someone that's going to come and do a live stream on those. So we, again, are able to, everyone just gets to tap in to the spirituality. It's all the same. I was raised in a space where it was okay to be whatever you wanted to be. If you came into my room, like right now, you guys are looking at Ma Durga and Shiva and probably like, oh, she's Hindu. No. Across from me, I can see Mother Mary. I got a green Tara, some Kuan Yin. There's Sekhmet. There's Thoth or Tehote over there. So Egyptian. We got Buddhist. We got Christian. I've got Unitarian flags up. I'm everything. I'm just spiritual, okay? Very spiritual. So celestial, okay? I'm tapping into that eternal ether, that channel, that kundalini, okay? Kundalini life force. Photons, energy, light waves, they're all the same. So I'm going to type, so that's not how you spell society. Thanks, Juliana. I love my backdrop too. I'm loving my new space in general. I'm so stoked. So the lunar cycle, we're going to go with this really quick. So every month you have a mini cycle that's happening. So starting on the new moon, that's when you can be like planting the seeds and you like make your plans. And so the new moon is this Friday. You make your little plans, and then you spend from the new moon to the full moon. That's like your action taking time. That's when you're really like doing the work, and you planted the seeds, and you're taking your action steps, and you're moving forward with your plan. And then the full moon will help illuminate what else needs to happen. So either illuminates what needs to be let go, or illuminates what actions you still need to like solidify. And then from the full moon to the new moon, that's more of the releasing time and also the harvesting. So you can gather the fruits of your labor and then also release what's no longer serving you and then start preparing for the next month. So you have 12 cycles at 13? How many full moons are there in a year? There's either 12 or 13 every year. So you're going through these mini changes. So a lot of us like to think that we're just going in one big year. We're more like doing this. And it's the same thing with like how our planet is even moving through space, right? The sun is moving through the Milky Way galaxy like this. And then the Earth is moving around the sun. And then we're still like moving forward in time. So, and we're not even really moving like on a disc. It's like, it's 3D, and then we're actually doing these mini circles as we go around it, right? So we're like constantly moving through time and space in a 3D way, and yet we think about time very linearly and very two-dimensionally. We're 3D people who think that we are 2D people. That's why your life probably seems very black and white, very boring, very flat. Because you've been trained to think in 2D linear time instead of realizing that you're moving in a 3D way throughout time and space. That's a totally different live stream. But the reason why I'm saying this is because the moon cycles can also affect you. Women are very affected like this. So a lot of women who come to me and are very sporadic in their energy, and they're like, everything's always either breaking or it's either feast or famine, feast or famine. One of the first things I have them do is start tracking their menstrual cycle against the moon, and we're able to start kind of lining up, you know, what energy they're having. And then women who don't have menstrual cycles anymore, either they're older, they've had a hysterectomy or whatever, I still have them learn the lunar pattern, just because women all over, again, have all these consciousness that's permeated the field, so the beliefs of thousands of years can sometimes be affecting you without you realizing it. Like maybe you were a moon goddess in some druid tribe back in the, 400s, and you need to have a conversation with that past life, and things can help calm down that way. Celestial bodies can also be angels. So let's talk about celestial in the Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah sort of way. It is Sunday. Ascended masters, angels, guides, beings of light, fae folk, fairies, mermaids, dragons. Am I missing anything? Anybody else use a different celestial being that I did not mention? Don't want to leave anybody out. They are all celestial. When I say celestial, okay, so celestial bodies, we just covered all the planets. Physical planets. Let's move to 5D. Let's move to like next level consciousness. Juliana and I are in a group called Juju Fierce with this amazing badass metaphysician named Frichi Hao. And she taught us this amazing, amazing trick that I'm going to very quickly teach you guys. I love it when you break into song. It just comes pouring out, man. I can't help it. Grammys 2021, baby. Working on my album. I'm working on an album and a book this year, guys. Am I fucking crazy or what? Yes, I'm crazy. And you should be too. So Free taught us this amazing way to realize that everyone's walking around. If you're watching this, you've probably heard this phrase. You are a divine being having a human experience. How many of you guys have heard that before? Give me some likes or some loves if you've heard that phrase. You are a divine being having a human experience. Yeah? Divine and celestial, for our purposes today, those are going to be interchangeable words. So, what this means for you is that right now, in this concept of space-time, you have chosen to incarnate in the 3D, okay? My hands are not actually touching. We know this through science, that they're actually repelling each other, and gravity and electromagnetism stops my hands from being able to smash into one another. So they're actually repelling each other, and it gives us the feeling that we are solid, even though we're not actually solid. We're mostly empty space, okay? We're mostly electricity. We're mostly electromagnetism. Like, you are a giant fucking magnet. Science can prove this. Bill Nye the Science Guy, he's got a whole thing on electromagnetism from the 90s. Go watch How the Universe Works, any episode. Just like start watching it. Literally just start watching how the universe works and learn so much about how you are as a body that all of a sudden everything that I'm talking about stops seeming so fucking crazy, because you stop seeing yourself as a solid meat suit and you start seeing it yourself as light and matter forming together and forming a cohesive electromagnetic field, which you then project for other people to see. So what you guys are seeing is my projection of what I want you guys to see, what I love to see in the mirror, what I love to look at in the mirror, which is why naked mirror mantras work, because I just have been able to rearrange the photons and the electromagnets of my body. But because we're all just electromagnets, because we're all just light that's been condensed down and field and like a little bit of matter, there's some matter in there. Way more matter for some of us than we need to have. This means that we have access to all of those beings, all of those light bodies, all of those angels and guides and all of that. You sit down and you pray. Go into Catholic Mass, okay? I was Catholic for a while. I was raised Catholic, baptized Catholic when I was a baby. Everyone's sitting there praying to God, and to Jesus, and to Mother Mary. And they're hoping, it's the same thing with their sun sign. They're hoping that if they pray hard enough, that this external force, God, is going to help impact their life somehow. That Mary is going to come create a miracle for them. That Jesus is going to do something for them. That their whole life is happening to them, and they just need someone to come and save them. Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Okay, I live in Utah. Every single church says the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And they all are seeking Jesus as their Savior. Except for Jesus isn't here. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's not 2000 BC. Or 2000. It's not zero. It's not 0 AD right now. Okay, we are not in the time that Jesus took physical form. We're in 2020 AD, BCE. No, CE. I forget. What did they call it now? CE, Common Era? I'm not with it. CE. So we're in 2020 CE, Common Era. We are 2020 years after Jesus Christ walked around in physical form. But you can still call on him to help you in a way that is your divine intuition, your divine celestial understanding and knowing. So, celestial beings, as in Jesus, Mary, Kuan Yin, Green Tara, all the saints, all the angels, Archangel Michael, yeah, Gabriel, all of them. They are your spiritual entourage. That's what Free calls them, and it's the best thing ever. Free's one of my mentors, for those of you who just jumped on. She calls them your spiritual entourage, meaning they are the non-physical beings that are still supporting you. When you meditate, you're meditating to, you're leaving your physical form. Every night you go to sleep, your physical form stays in your bed, and your non-physical form, your eternal form, goes into the astral plane, the dream realm, which is the astral plane. Every night you go to bed, your celestial self is still doing all the things that it's constantly doing. And then you wake up and you're back in your physical form, and your conscious mind is now running the show, when your super conscious mind is kind of just like there in the background. And then your subconscious mind, which is all of the limiting beliefs and all the stories and all the things that you're trying to heal yourself from, is also running, and is actually a really fucking powerful magnet that is magnetizing almost everything to you. And then your conscious mind's like, what is happening? Why is this going on? And your super conscious mind's like, come on now, this is just lessons you're trying to teach yourself. But the celestial bodies, again, accepting support from celestial bodies, this is accepting the answer that you get when you meditate and stop being mad about it. Okay? Or to throw a temper tantrum. I have regular meetings with my guides, beings and ascended masters, and sometimes those board meetings are like, okay guys, and it's just like automatic writing. This is what I need to do, and we use these tools of journaling and automatic writing, and what do I need to do, and I switch the color pen. So that's one way. Accepting support from celestial bodies is all of the tools that you currently have in your toolkit. Your meditation practice, your yoga practice, your tarot cards, your oracle cards, your palm readings, your color divination, your pendulum. All of those things are, again, electromagnetic waves infiltrating into your brain, and then you're processing them through the supercomputer that is your brain and body, and making a choice, putting an output, input, processing, output. That's how computers work. Anybody watch Storybots with their kids? That's a Snoop Dogg episode. It's freaking hilarious. So the celestial bodies, they want to support you. Okay, Archangel Michael is rooting for you, just like he was rooting for Joan of Arc. Okay. Now, I could go into the fact that Joan of Arc and Archangel Michael and yourself are not separate, but that would probably be too much for a lot of you. So let's just start with board meetings. So you've taken out your paper, you've read your sun's horoscope for the day, You've done your lunar calendar, you've done some meditation, some ritual, and you're good. And you're still wanting a little bit of extra. So you start doing some of your automatic writing. You start, you pull out a tarot deck, pull some oracle cards. All of this stuff is accepting help from your spiritual entourage. All of this is tapping into the ether, the star stuff, the electrons and magnetism all around you. That's how the law of attraction works, right? The law of frequency, the vibration. You can never pull the wrong card. That's why you should never ask the same question twice during a day. Why you can't really change the answer. Now you can change the outcome. Remember that when you're doing tarot, they literally say this is if you continue on your current path and make no changes. So you always have the ability to change and have a different path. But it's why they suggest, like, don't ask the same question twice in a day. Like, you're not going to get a different answer, is because the law of vibration, the law of frequency. What are you magnetizing to yourself? The law of attraction is just, what kind of magnet are you? Are you magnetizing? We already discussed that you're an electromagnetic. Does anyone here not believe that you are a giant ball of matter and electrons that's mostly empty space? Anybody? Oh, wait. So because of that, like, you can't ignore the law of sciences. If an actual magnet, I need to buy some magnets so that I can do this. If an actual magnet magnetizes, then you do too. Science. Everything I do and say is actually backed up by science, because I was very left-brained, am very left-brained. It's why I love working with men and women, because I really do have an equal ability to understand. Like, my dad was a Vulcan. If you guys know what a Vulcan is from Star Trek, that's who I was raised by. He is a Vulcan through and through and through. Logic is his life. So I've been able to logically describe everything that happens to me using his own science. And he still doesn't really get it, but he at least accepts what I'm telling him, because he can go look in any scientific journal and see that what I'm saying is correct. Now, what happens when you don't like the answer, or it's taking too long? Law of attraction always tells us that we can ask for the what, but then we have to concede the when and the how. And I'm okay with conceding the how, because I have no idea how I'm going to reach $2 million this year. I only have plans for about 200,000 of it, but miracles, magnetism. I have to keep my vibration at a certain level for it to happen, but besides that, it's possible, and I don't need to know how it's going to happen. The when is the part that I really like to play with. The when is what my clients like to play with. The when is when you throw a temper tantrum, which is what I'm going to tell you about right now. So you've done your oracle readings. You've done all of the things that we talked about. You've booked your horoscope. Everything says that everything should be working out just fine. And yet here you are, and you're like, where is it? What the fuck? Doing everything right, keeping everything where I'm supposed to be. I'm staying high vibe. I'm not expecting it. I'm excited for it, but I have all these notes in this notebook saying that I'm going to get it on this day. Or I've got all these automatic writing prompts that say that if I do this, this, and this is going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. This is where you get to call your spiritual entourage into one of these board meetings, and instead of it being a board meeting of, okay guys, so what do we need to do? What's the action plan? This is a board meeting where you get to take all that pent-up anger, focus your rage. Sekhmet, the goddess in Egypt, she was amazing at this. This is why she's one of my favorite goddesses to work with. As a dragon, there's lots of things that piss me the fuck off. Most of them have to do with how our entire system is actually how it is. Like, the politics in our system, the public education system, corporations, food, government. I said government. Government's a big part of it. War. like the systemic issues in how our whole entire world actually is. That's what dragons really are here to mostly change. So my clients are global thought leaders. My clients are the ones that want to be the big, like they're raising kids right now and they're really enjoying that part of their life, but they know that they are meant to be and do great things. You hear me say all the time that I'm going to be president of the United States. There is not a doubt in my mind that that will happen. And I just keep going forward every single day with that knowing that you guys are both, every single one of you is looking. Juliana calls me Madam President because she knows. She knows it's happening. And it just helps reinforce that I know what I know. And so you can do this. You can take your rage that you have and you use it to have conversations with your spiritual entourage. So it might look like this. Set a timer for an hour, 40 minutes, whatever. Light a candle. I usually do this standing. It usually works better. Okay, archangels. Archangel Michael, get your ass down here. Gabriel, you know what? You've been showing up a lot too. Raphael, you know what? Metatron, just all y'all. All you guys that keep showing up in my meditations, get down here. Sekhmet, you too. Teote, you need to get down here. Anubis, Shiva, Shakti, Ma Durga, all of you. Come on. Come down here right now. Ganesha, I see you lingering in the corner, and I will call all of the people, all of the guides, ascended masters, gods that I work with in meditation. Anana, come on. You know that you need to be in here too. Kalima, you know your ass better be in this meeting, girl. Get down here. And once I feel like I've called in everyone that needs to be here, I say, what the fuck, guys? You're not here in physical 3D form right now. You have no idea how fucking hard it is to be human in 2020. The amount of suffering that everyone is so damn addicted to. I did exactly what you said, Tejote, and you can pull out some of your references from your automatic writing. I know that I was supposed to talk to this person. I knew that I was supposed to do this, this, and this, which I did because I trust you and I believe you. So where the hell is my reward? Where is the thing that you promised me? You guys are up there on your fancy lotuses, sipping nectar in nirvana, meditating with Buddha, which, by the way, where the fuck is Buddha? Yeah, he needs to get his ass in here too. And you throw a temper tantrum. But you're not focusing on what you don't have. You're focusing on all the things you've already done that your celestial bodies, your celestial entourage has told you, and you are confirming that you've done all of those things. Reminding your spiritual entourage that it's their job to help you. I have an intergalactic mission to help the entire planet, Sophia Gaia, ascend into the 7th dimension so that we can take our rightful place among our intergalactic community and finally be able to have regular conversations with Vulcans and Lyrans and those from Arcturus. I want to be able to very easily go back to Karnak, which you guys might know as the Syrian Star Nation. We've been stuck in this 3D pretend aloneness for way too long, and I know that my global mission, my mission here on this planet right here, right now, as Caryn Terrace, is an intergalactic missionary from the Council of the Divine Feminine to activate within every single one of you the fact that you are not suffering the human condition, you are living it. Suffering is bullshit. It is what is keeping the world where it is. And as soon as you stop healing, as soon as you stop being addicted to healing, stop being addicted to your suffering, and start living your life out loud, authentically, the way that you want, without apology, big things are going to happen. Like, it's already happening. We got volcanic eruptions, all sorts of crazy shit's going on. And nobody seems to get you too worried about your mortgage. Too worried about what the neighbors are going to think. Too worried about what's going to happen on social media. Bullshit. So you throw your temper tantrum, and trust me, like, I get riled up. I will even get, like, sexually charged. Like, Sometimes I'll bust out my whip. Sometimes I just punch a pillow, and I'm letting all of my rage go, but I'm focusing it. I'm laser focused on what it is that I desire. I'm not focused on the fact that it hasn't happened yet. I'm focused on all of the things that in my meditations, in my automatic writing, in my just daily living and being so in tune with my intuition and bringing that up. Okay, Ganesha, these obstacles that you said that you were going to remove are still here. What the fuck? Why are you sitting on your ass eating bonbons instead of moving this thing out of the way? Because you know as soon as this thing's moved out of the way, all of this other stuff's going to happen. So get your ass on it. And I'm able to then, instead of being so frustrated that my life isn't moving the way I want, I'm able to take that energy, focus it into a ball, and then at the end of my, when I feel like I've collected all of my frustrations, I then will use a dragon's breath, where I take a deep breath in, and I go, and I imagine every single thing that's stopping me from reaching presidency, because honestly, everything else I talk about between now and when I'm sitting in the White House is actually leading me to the White House. So for me, when I get frustrated, I'm focusing on the White House. And I see the White House, and it's like the scene from Beauty, or not Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty, where all the briar bushes and stuff are in the way. And I just like blast a giant dragon's breath, like Godzilla, laser beam of pure energy down, and I clear that channel and I unblock it, and then I continue moving forward. So it's not a practice that I teach you to do every single day, but when you want your spiritual entourage to get up and listen, every client I've ever taught this to has had phenomenal results with it. Like going from having, a 20K month to the next month, she had a 55K month, to the next month she made 100K. One of my clients went from having zero in his bank account to $15,000 in his bank account. One of my clients was able to close her first ever $50,000 full pay client. Before that, the highest she had ever done was like a $12,000 full pay. So again, I talk about money a whole lot because money is what y'all value. And if the way that I get you to understand that money is just energy is by helping you get more money, then I'm going to start with that. Absolutely. If you are an entrepreneurial parent, as in a parent who is also an entrepreneur, and you are sick and tired of working 25 hours a week when the whole reason why you became an entrepreneur was so that you could go to the soccer games, but if you don't work enough hours, then you can't do that, then we need to talk. Because I actually work like 8 hours a week. And it's amazing. I homeschool 3 children. And that's the other thing, is that my kids watch me do this. They're watching me. We talk about this all the time. So my son, I will hear him throw temper tantrums. Now, we haven't talked so much about gods and goddesses. We're learning more about that, the different pantheons. So there's the ancient Egyptian pantheon, there's the Roman pantheon, there's the Greek pantheon, there's all of the South American pantheon, everywhere. Like all of Africa. This is why I love the internet, because I'm always finding new people who have different spiritual beliefs that I get to then research and teach my kids. Because celestial bodies, what did Carl Sagan say? We're all made out of star stuff. What was I saying? We're all made out of electrons and matter, which is what the sun is made out of. Did you know that a photon takes 1 million years to reach the outside of the sun? This is a little bit of a tangent, but I want you to really understand that the reason why I don't give a fuck about what you're suffering through right now, and why I'm really, really, really bored with the amount of suffering and seeking of healing, is because it takes 1 million years for the photon to go from the outside of the sun, from the inside of the sun, to see your eyes. So all the light that you're receiving right now took 8 minutes from the sun, from the outside of the sun, to reach your eyes. But that same photon, it took 2 hydrogen atoms at immense force, smashing into each other, boom, causing nuclear fusion, First of all, creating nuclear fusion is really fucking hard. They have an entire like tunnel underneath Switzerland that goes woo, and they're constantly trying to bash atoms together to make nuclear fusion happen. And it only happens like once every like 10,000 tries or some shit like that. Like, it's really hard to make nuclear fusion happen. But it's happening inside the sun. These violent explosions. And when it happens, they turn into gamma rays. Gamma rays is what turned the Hulk into the Hulk. That should kill you fast. Obviously, we're not all the Hulk, so we're not getting hit by gamma rays by the sun. We're getting hit by visible light rays. So, inside the sun, boom, giant explosion. Boom, giant explosion. Boom. So your life, you know how right now you're learning how to ascend and you want things to get better and you're like, why is everything blowing up in my life? Why are all my bridges burning? Why are all my friends leaving? Why is my bank account like this? What the fuck is going on? It's because you finally decided that you want to be a photon. You want to be a beam of light for other people to see. Well, it starts really fucking violent. It just does. Boom, another one. So now you have this beautiful, beautiful photon, this gamma ray, this amazing, beautiful, ultra powerful, gonna kill you photon in the center of the sun. And it takes 1,000,000 years to get from the center of the sun to travel 400,000 miles. And it's not a straight line. It's going like this. Remember how we're traveling around the sun? And the sun's traveling around the Milky Way galaxy. Same thing with this little photon. As soon as it is born, it gets absorbed into another atom and then absorbed into another one. So if you can imagine like a group of basketball players, instead of passing the basketball like from A to B and then shooting a hoop, there's like 5 of them and they're just passing the ball back down around and like eventually it's gonna reach the court. That's what this little photon does. It goes zoop, 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 zoop. And eventually, after 1,000,000 years of going like this, and each time it sucks into an atom and gets pushed into another one, it's losing a little bit of energy, just a little bit. So that's how it goes from being a gamma ray in the center of the sun to being like an X-ray by the time it reaches the convection oven of the sun, which is the upper mantle. So it's inside the super hot, dense gas plasma ball of 400,000 miles thick. And then it reaches the outer surface into the convection layer. And then it pops into one last atom, and like how a bubble of, when boiling water, how you see the bubbles rise and then pop. It hitches a ride on a final atom and bubbles. It takes a week to get from, so 1,000,000 years, and then its final week to float to the top of the convection oven layer of the sun. And then once it reaches that, it's lost enough energy that it becomes visible light. And then it pops from the convection layer. And then it takes 8 minutes to reach you here. And then it only takes like 12 hours to reach Saturn. And then you have to remember that photon is reaching the eyes of someone in a different side of the Milky Way galaxy. But the stars that we're seeing in the sky is light from, you know, that Andromeda is however many light years away. Light years. Okay, a light year is a long time. So we're constantly looking into the past. Celestial bodies are our past. When you look up into the night sky and you see Jupiter, the sun you're seeing, this light you're seeing from Jupiter reflected back to us is light that already passed us and is now coming back. So you're still looking back in time. Not as far as when you're looking at Orion or anything like that, but we're constantly looking, we're obsessed with the past. But we don't think about the stars as the past every night. We just think about the night sky. And if one star moves, unless you're an astronomer or a NASA scientist, you don't notice when there's not a star there anymore. But we notice because we get hit by the gravity finally. Did you know that we got hit by a gravity wave this week? Because they think that 2 black holes merged somewhere else in the universe and the gravity hit us here? We're constantly being bombarded by things happening in space. We are traveling through space. Remember? Every day we make a rotation in our little Earth ball. And that rotation is going around the sun. And that sun is going around the center of the Milky Way galaxy. For you to tell me that you're stuck is bullshit. You are constantly moving forward in linear time. Everything that you are depressed about is shit that happened already. It's in the past. Everything you're anxious about is in the future, hasn't happened yet. You are here, you are now, you are in this space-time, this current moment. And in this current moment, are you going to choose to be suffering, or are you going to choose to be living? Are you going to choose to be a copy of somebody else, or are you going to choose to be the 1 in 400 trillion that you are? The likelihood that you exist right now is 1 in 400 trillion, as in the likelihood that you were born to who you were born to, when you were born, where you were born, is 1 in 400 trillion. But you're not special. You're average. You don't deserve to be healed. You don't deserve to have a good life. You don't deserve to have $1 million or an awesome body. You don't deserve to have mind-blowing sex. I choose to live. Yes! Yes, Christina, choosing to live sensually and like not just live, but live out loud. You know? Live out loud. Be who you are, authentically, unapologetically, all the time. Because nothing really matters at all. It's all just a game. It's a giant fucking game of Monopoly. And as soon as you realize that it's a game, you start having way more fun in life. Do I still have random bills come up? Yeah. And when I have a random bill come up, guess what? Oh, Bill. Ooh, you smell nice. Yeah, I'm such an amazing manifester. I created this lack because I am a bad girl. I am so bad. I love lack. I know I'm not supposed to, and that's what makes me so bad. I'm not supposed to. If you stop living life by what other people say you're supposed to do, I have a lot more fun. But more than having fun, you're going to make an impact. You're going to become that photon. You're going to be the lighthouse. You know, so many light workers out there sharing their message, and as soon as one person questions them, they're back to the drawing boards. My favorite analogy for what a dragon really is this, and I'm going to leave you with it. No, it's been an hour. Way too many people on this planet are living the tarot. We're all living the tarot journey, okay? The journey of the tarot is the journey of life. But right in the very middle of the journey of the tarot on the major arcana is the Tower. It's like the center card. And way too many people, especially light workers, are going from the Fool to the Tower, back to the Fool, to the Tower. And they just do that. They do the Hermit phase, they rebrand, they make all these changes, and then they get to the Tower and things blow up. And they're like, oh shit, I did it wrong. Better back to the drawing board. Better find a new god to pray to. Better go check my astrology chart again. Better go search for an answer. What if you decided that instead of being the Fool every time the Tower happens, you see that you've actually conquered a new world? And you're actually constantly traveling from the Tower to the world, which is the second half of the journey, where you reach the sun, the moon, and the stars. And you get everything that you could ever want in the Wheel of Fortune and everything. And that you're constantly moving on that journey. And when the Tower happens, it's because you have become so big and so powerful that your current paradigm literally can't hold your energy field anymore, so it blows the fuck up. And when shit blows up, you don't get worried and afraid. You say, hell yeah! I broke a new paradigm. I'm creating a new world. I'm creating something that's never been created before. And that means that you have to get messy. It means that you have to be a toddler. It means you got to get that finger paint and smear some over here and a little bit over there. You put some in your hair. Dragons aren't afraid of destruction. Dragons aren't afraid of the world blowing up. Dragons aren't afraid of the end of the world, because the end of the world just means the beginning of a new one. Because as science tells us, you can't actually destroy matter. Matter cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted into energy. So all the matter that was on my physical body that's no longer here, like the physical body when this hoodie fit me perfectly, and it's now like giant, has turned into the fuel, into the energy that I use and show up every week for you guys, and in all my live streams, and for all my clients. The energy, the matter, everything that mattered to me when I weighed 200 pounds, everything that mattered to me when I was suicidal, everything that mattered to me when I was broke, all of that matter, you can't destroy matter, but you can convert it into energy. And that energy is what leads me to know that I'm going to be president of the United States. That energy is what leads me to know that I'm going to be a multimillionaire by the end of the year. That energy is what leads me to know that no matter what, I am willing to do everything on the planet so that my children live in a world where they know that they are a god, that they are a dragon, that they are creating their life, that they are not suffering the human condition, they are reveling in it. You are a divine being having a human experience, because being a human is fucking fun. Being a human is amazing. I love chocolate, I love champagne, and I love sex. I can't have any of those things when I'm a floating blob of energy. Jesus loved wine. That's why he converts water into wine. Ganesha loves to eat his bonbons. Lakshmi loves to play with the money. That's why she comes down into human form every once in a while and plays in it, but then goes back in knowing that she can't play with those things when she's an energy blob. Mother Mary can't actually smell the roses anymore, but when she was here, she sure loved it. She had gardens filled with roses. That's why she's associated with the rose. Green Tara lived thousands of lifetimes on Karnak, brought Shambhala to Karnak, became the leader of the Syrian Star Nation, and then came to America, came to Earth to teach us how to live pleasurably, sensually, to revel in the five senses. Because being a human is the point. Being a human is the point. If you're not going to play the game of being human, then bye. You don't want to play the game, then get off the planet. There's plenty of people who want to actually play the game. If you want to sit here and bitch and moan and cry to me about how fucked up your life is, then I'm not the coach for you. I'm just not. I am not interested in how hard your life is. I'm interested in what the fuck you're going to do about it. I'm interested to know the story of how you survived. I want to know the story of how you slayed the dragon. And then realize that you didn't need to slay no dragon because you were the dragon. What you needed to slay was this myth that you were anything except for a divine being having a human experience. I don't know why everyone hates humans so much. Honestly. Being a dragon just means that you get it. It means that you can be playful. It means that you can have fun. It means that you're no longer being so serious. Why so serious? It means that you can just be. You don't need to focus on anything. You can just feel. You can just let it go. Let it go. I'm one with the wind and sky. Right? Else has a dragon. Anna's a dragon. Anna's amazing. She kicks all sorts of ass. She doesn't even have magical powers. She's able to focus on what she wants, which is to have an amazing life with her sister. So she does whatever it takes, no matter what. I'm a parent. Everything comes out to me in some sort of analogy of children's movies. I love you too, Marina. Hi. Hi, Nicole. So, in closing, use your astrology. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. If you are an astrology nut, go for it. And then go teach someone with it. Go serve with that knowledge. You love talking about sacred geometries and the amazing codes that are locked up in the Fibonacci sequence and in labyrinths and all of that. Go for it. Have fun and serve. And then when you get pissed off that things aren't going well, remember that you have a whole entourage of people, of humans, well, not humans, yes, humans, of celestial bodies, of archangels, of gods, of fairies, here to support you, that want you to win. What is the law of attraction always saying? The universe wants you to have it. The universe doesn't care whether you ask for $1 or $1 million. It's you. You're the one changing your frequency. You're the one that doesn't believe that you're a magnet. You're the one that doesn't remember that you are electricity. You're an electromagnetic field, mostly made out of empty space and some matter. So what matters to you? Does it matter to you that you got raped when you were in high school? Or does it matter to you that you're going to change the world and make sure that no one can ever rape someone again? Does it matter to you that you have some sort of horrendous autoimmune disease? Or does it matter that you want to do everything in your power to make sure that nobody else suffers from that disease? Does it matter to you that your child was killed? Yes, killed, murdered. Or does it matter to you that you want to make sure that that sort of suffering doesn't affect someone else? Your story matters once you decide to serve with it. It's why I don't not tell the story about having fibromyalgia. It's why I don't pretend like that didn't happen to me. But I use the energy that I stored in so many years of suffering to propel me forward, to tell you that you don't have to suffer your condition anymore. You can live in a pleasurable, loving, amazing, orgasmic, miraculous way, so that your life truly is a continuous stream of miracles, and that you truly can have the most fun and the most impact on this planet. You don't have to spend your life sharing memes. You can be anything you want to be. And if what you want to be is the best fucking mom on the whole planet, then be that. Just stop seeking to heal. You don't need to heal anything. You are a star. You are a celestial being. You think Jupiter gives a shit about that spot on it? It doesn't need to heal its spot. It owns its spot. Okay, any comments, questions, or concerns? No? Okay, I love you all. Thank you so much. Next week, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it live. I might not. I'm going to be out of town traveling. I'm going to try to wake up, but you know how it is. Sometimes it's just not going to happen. So I will keep you all posted. If not, I will be back the first weekend of February for another edition of Sunday Morning Coffee with Caryn. Cheers.